Good afternoon, everyone. You are at our free webinar here at Situated Research called Live Landing Page Critiques with usability expert, myself, Michel Sharritt. I'm really excited that you're joining us this afternoon, and I cannot wait to get a hold of your websites and critique them and give you some really good, valuable advice today. Today's topics that we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about a lot more, but these are the key topics. We're first going to talk about navigation structure and website organization. So when we talk about navigation structure, we'll be talking about how you navigate through your website, as well as your main menu navigation and your submenus. When we're talking about website organization, we're going to talk about the placement of items within each page of your website, such as videos, photos, text, slideshows, etc. We'll also talk about color psychology, graphics, font size, color, and headings. We're also going to talk about website copy. When is your website too wordy? And when are your page lengths too long? How much will an actual user who comes to your site actually read? We'll also touch upon social media integration and, of course, search engine optimization. We'll talk about page layout and structure, which sort of goes with website organization. But with page layout and structure, we'll be mainly focusing on where items are placed. So real briefly, those of you who are not familiar with Situated Research, our team has actually written the playbook on usability for website design. We started Situated Research back in 2008, and our whole entire team consists of PhDs on our team who have interdisciplinary degrees in human-computer interaction, psychology, communication, etc., HCI. And so we've actually, when we first started the business back in 2008, between 2008 and 2009, we came up with a free usability report. And this free usability report reviewed 20 different areas of usability. And some of the areas that we reviewed were such as content. We also looked at menu navigation. We looked at the aesthetics and design of a website, motivating powerful messages on your site, consistency from page to page, and the list goes on to 20 different items. And we used to give out a free report that turned out to be about 20 to 25 pages long that really gave some good insight into these different areas of usability. And what happened is people took the report, they made tweaks and changes to their website, or they had our team assist their team to make their website better based off of the report. And so the report was free, and it was a PDF file that you received. Well, now what we do, instead of handing out a report that you have to read, we actually do videos. So you can actually see one of our usability experts reviewing your website on a 5 to 15 minute video. And we go through different main areas of usability that are concerns on your website. So if you're interested in that, we're going to give you our contact information at the very end of today's session. You can just go ahead and email us, give us the URL to your website, and we'll have it to you within 48 hours. So since 2008, we've actually conducted over 5,000 website reviews. So a lot of websites. And we've discovered that all websites do have issues or concerns when it comes to usability. And a lot of people say, well, why is that? Some of the main reasons of why this is because a lot of people either develop their own website themselves using a free tool online because of budget reasons, or the people who design their website are great designers, great developers, great coders. However, they lack in background of usability. So they'll make whatever you want, but the problem is you as a business owner aren't concerned or have the know-how about usability in order to incorporate it into your site. So you're telling the web developer what you want on your website, they're coding it, making it happen, but the usability is missing. So that's why we offer this free analysis. So instead of a free usability report, website usability report, we now call it a free marketing analysis. So because we go over social media, we go over search engine optimization, and we go over some of your marketing and branding as well now. So you get a free video analysis of your website by one of our experts, and that gets emailed to you within 48 hours. And then if you'd like to schedule a phone call after you receive the video to answer any questions that you might have, or to get some pricing on our services to assist you and your team, then we can set that up as well. So it's free, no obligation. So if you are interested, again, contact us at the end of today's session. So our analysis includes different things. We give you an overall look at the user friendliness of your website. So we will look at every page of your site, and we will give you an overall kind of score, if you will, of how your website ranks as far as user friendliness. We also have research-driven analysis of your branding and marketing presence. So we actually will go to your website, look at the messages that you're putting on your website. Are they powerful? Are they meaningful? Is it just gibberish? Do you not need to have this content, etc.? And we're going to kind of touch upon that during today's webinar when we talk about wordiness and page length. We also conduct an evaluation of your website's navigation structure and ease of use. And we're going to talk about that today during the webinar as well, as far as how many menu options should you be giving your users, how many submenus should you have, etc. And we'll go into labeling as well. And in the video, we give you action items to improve your website's effectiveness on. So we give you a list of those items so that helps you. So when requesting a video analysis, you can do this one of two ways. One way, you can contact us directly at Situated Research, which is our usability parent company, or you can contact our sister company, QCamp. Our sister company, QCamp, actually deals with all of the online marketing web presence. So any kind of web design, redesign, social media marketing would be with QCamp. And so you can request the video on either website. But Situated Research is the one who's going to be doing the usability video. So one of our experts will be looking at your website. And then if you need any services, we'll be referring you to our sister company, QCamp. So with that being said, our usability analysis really will grade you on the most important aspects of your website, gauging the experience you create for your end users. So this takes into account things like functionality and aesthetics that determine the message that you're communicating, how you communicate it, and the psychology behind that message. So this video is completely customized and it's highly subjective. So the nature of the tests that are done are such that they cannot be done instantly by a computer. So people, experts that we have on staff actually have to perform these analyses. So the items that we look over when we do our expert reviews, Dr. Sharritt has actually come up with, he's contributed to the video analysis, kind of giving us guidelines as to what to look at. And he did that by drawing upon his advanced background in computer interface, usability, communication, and information sciences. And then myself, I've drawn upon my background in behavioral psychology to construct the findings of every report that we do. So this free video, it aims to help you identify different areas of your website that require attention. So again, we'll give you our contact info at the very end, and then you can definitely go ahead and request that free video. So why do we do this? We do free video analysis, one, because like I said before, Websites are developed by web developers, not by usability experts most of the time. And so with that being said, usability is being lost. So improvements that can be made to your website will help you to retain your customers, to build trust on an online platform, and in turn will definitely boost your sales. So some live reviews that we've done in the past, Wayfair, we've done Lagunitas Brewing Company, Michael Graham Salon and Spa, which is a local company here in Naperville, Standard Market in Chicago, and Cisco out on the West Coast. And those are just a few that we've done during this live webinar. This live webinar, if you're not familiar, we are actually going to, in the year 2016, do this webinar once a week. Just because there are so many people who request the free usability video and they want to get that analysis, and there's just so many requests. And so because of that, in order for us to keep up, we want to go ahead and just do the live webinar once a week and give folks a chance to have their website looked at a little bit. And then if they want the full analysis video, they can go ahead and request it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start reviewing our websites for today. So when you signed up for today's session, okay, this will just take me a minute. When you signed up for today's session, you actually were able to go ahead and put down the URL of your website so that we could go ahead and look at your site and evaluate it and get permission to do so during today's session. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to be critiquing 7 websites today. Hopefully we'll get through them all. If we don't get through your website or get to your website, we will then contact you via email and we will set up time to do a live session with you, or you can opt to just receive a video. So again, some of the areas that we're going to be looking at today, we're going to be looking to make sure that when we look at your homepage of your website, so your landing page, when we land on your URL, we get a clear essence of what your business is about. So we can go ahead and we can look at your company logo, look at your branding, that color psychology I mentioned before at the beginning about topics that we talk about today, making sure that the colors of the website coincide with your company logo. Everything just makes sense. There's consistency between page to page, meaning that your menu navigation doesn't change architecturally on each page. Again, meaning that your main menu navigation stays at the top of your pages instead of it's at the top of your home page, and then you go to an internal page and it switches to the left-hand side of the page. Just making sure that there's consistency. And we're also going to look at the aesthetics of the site, just making sure that the graphics make sense. There isn't too much going on. There aren't things flashing at us. There aren't avatars on the page that are talking to us right away that we just want to click off. We've all had that happen before. And we also want to look at the website to make sure that it's enjoyable and fun to use. Meaning as we click through the site, is it boring? Is there too much content? Are the graphics boring? Does it not make sense? Which sort of leads us into wordiness. So are we having to scroll through the pages, constantly throughout each page, and just having to scroll and scroll and scroll, making sure that the real estate on each page is not filled with content that just keeps repeating itself, but just worded differently. We also want to make sure that content is motivating and it's powerful. There are actual calls to action because that will encourage communication. It will also encourage trust within your site, and it will also help you to gain sales. Again, we want to make sure that there's consistency from page to page. And we also want to make sure that there's ease in locating typical information, like as people want to contact you, there should be a contact us button in your main menu navigation, things like that. So the first site that we're going to look at is Naperville Area Chamber of Commerce, which is our local Chamber of Commerce here in Naperville. And we're going to look at all the different areas that I just talked about, but we're also going to look at the wireframe of the website. So think of the wireframe of a website as the blueprint of the website. So just think that there are no images. There's just a box that says big image goes here, content goes here, introduction goes here. So it's a blueprint. So we're going to look and make sure that your wireframe actually makes sense, that there's simple menu navigation, there's clear, distinct labeling of your menu options. They're not too long. When you click on About Us, you know exactly what kind of information you're going to be getting. We want to make sure that your website follows certain web standards. A big one that we come across all the time are hyperlinks. Just making sure that hyperlinks are colored in blue and underlined so that you know that it's clearly a hyperlink in the content. We're also going to look at grammar, verbiage. We're going to look at font size and color of your font. We're also going to make sure that your contact information is always available. And we're also going to be looking for help and documentation within your website. So with these things in mind, we're going to go ahead and look at the Naperville Area Chamber of Commerce. So right away, when I come to this homepage, I need to understand what this site is going to be about. So a Chamber of Commerce, I already have an idea in my mind that this is about the city of Naperville and the different offerings in the city of Naperville and the Chamber of Commerce, so the different businesses that reside in the city of Naperville. And then I have a beautiful image here from downtown Naperville. So it's an actual image that they took. It isn't stock imagery. And let me just talk about that for a moment. Stock imagery versus real imagery that you take. When we conduct our tests with actual users, users actually know when you're using stock imagery and when you're using real imagery. And people are like, well, what does it matter as long as my website looks great? There's a trust factor there. A lot of people, when they see a lot of stock imagery or all stock imagery on a website, they kind of start questioning the business. And they say to themselves, why is this company not using their own imagery? What are they trying to hide? Why wouldn't they just take their own photos? Yeah, you can have a couple of stock images on your website to kind of make it look pretty, maybe for a slideshow or something, or maybe for the homepage. But when you get into internal pages and they just consistently keep using stock imagery, it's kind of like, why can't you show me something that's real, something real from your business? So users actually, I would say about 80% of them know the difference. And it's a trust factor. You have to understand that people are online, they're doing Google searches, your company comes up, or they're giving your URL to go to, and they come to the site and they see things like that, among other things that we're going to talk about today, and they start losing trust. And they haven't talked to anyone, they haven't met anyone, it was just a referral or a Google search. And now they've come to the site and they just don't feel comfortable. And so they leave. So that is actually something that occurs. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at your imagery. So typically in 2015, web design, the way it goes is we have a lot of slideshows at the top quarter of the homepage, or we have a really nice image with content on it, which we see here. So this was done very well. This looks great. The only thing that I would say here is that maybe the white font color might be a little distracting here or hard to read because it's on a white background with the snow. So maybe you want to move this whole message up more so it's more in the red, so there's some contrast. So that would go along with aesthetics of the site and a little bit of color psychology as well. So I'm reading the message. I arrive at the homepage. I see advancing business in the Naperville region as one of the largest and most highly accredited chambers in the state with over 1,300 members. Join the chamber. So that's a very powerful message. That's telling me that this site wants to advance businesses in the Naperville region. They are one of the largest and most highly accredited chambers in the state. Plus, they have over 1,300 members. That's a powerful message. So as far as content on the homepage, I'm knowing exactly what this company does, what this business does, what this website does, what it's going to consist of, just looking at the homepage, which is great. Great job. If I'm looking at the rest of the homepage, I'm just going to go ahead and scan down. I see some ads here. Now, these might be local ads. They may be just ads on the site because it's paid advertising. I'm not too sure, but there are some local ads here kind of embedded within. But this is distracting. So my suggestion to the Naperville Chamber of Commerce would be to remove this. It's distracting. It's taking away from this message here where you're trying to welcome people to the site and to give them some more good, clear information. Because the whole purpose of the site is to join the chamber if you're not already a member. And if you are already a member, then you want to go within the site, go to your member login, and get the information that you came to get. You don't want to see necessarily see ads being flashed at you. So I would say remove that. As we go down, we see our membership directory, which is great. We can go ahead and view that. We can go ahead and join the chamber. We can go ahead and log in if we are already a member. That's great information to have. We have a calendar, so some upcoming events, some featured events. But then again, we have the ads going. So again, I would say remove this. It's distracting. I would say, have this on a sponsored page within the site. So that way, if people wanted to see ads, they could go ahead and click on that. I understand why the site would have ads going because they are representing the different businesses in the Naperville region. So they want to go ahead and showcase those to people, but it's distracting. For someone who's not a member coming to the site for the first time, this is distracting. Another thing that's distracting is the scrolling of circle members. So this is distracting as well because it's constantly moving. It's taking my eye away from content because I'm watching this because it's moving. A good thing, well, before I get to that, let's talk about menu navigation. And then we'll move on to the next site. So menu navigation here. So we see membership, about the chamber, programs and events, advocacy, the region. So as we click, we can go ahead and see the submenus and we can see the sub-submenus. So we can see how many are in each. Okay, so just real quickly, just by looking at this, a Chamber of Commerce website is going to have a lot of information. And the way that information is presented and blocked together is very, very important to the user. So it has to make sense, especially for this particular website because they want you to become a member of the Chamber of Commerce. So if they bore you with a bunch of information or a bunch of information that you don't want to see, or you come to the site and you're looking for particular information before you join and you're having to go through all of this to even figure it out, and maybe you never find it, is not a good thing. So rule of thumb is that you do not want to have any more than 4 to 6 main menu buttons in your main menu navigation. Okay, so let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they did a good job there. They kept it very short. As far as submenus go, the same thing. You don't want to have any more than 4 to 5 submenus. What ends up happening is if you have too many main menu buttons up here, you are going to be giving your users too many options to choose from. And you can group things together. So membership, you could actually, I know they want it prominent right there, first menu, makes sense because that's the goal of the site. But that could go under about the chamber. And actually, as far as labeling goes, I would say change about the chamber to about us, keeps it shorter. Um, so anytime that you can shorten your labeling and it makes sense, do it. As far as submenus go, as I said, there are too many. And then they have sub-submenus, which is also disturbing too, because what ends up happening is we say in the information architect world is that this is too deep. So it's way too deep. So think of all these submenus as being underground. So think of your main menu buttons as the grass above the ground, and all your submenus are down in the dirt. Okay, and so think of how deep this is. And then here we've got some more submenus. What ends up happening is this information gets lost within the website. It gets hard to find, and it could be categorized in a different way that makes sense, where you wouldn't need all of these submenus. So for membership, instead of, let's just say, success stories, can't we put that under about us and say what we do, who we are, success stories? Contact us should be a separate contact us button. That's just a rule of thumb because that's what users expect to see. At the footer of the page, which was what I was going to talk about a little while ago, but we went to the main menu navigation, we have our social media integration. And here on this site, we have our Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, email, and YouTube, which is great. So that's located here. We also have a search box for help and documentation. So if I do get lost within the site, I can go ahead and use the search box. On this particular site, I actually would add a search box to the top as well, just because of the amount of information that's on the site. A good thing too is that they have their contact information at the bottom of the page as well. And the good thing about that is if I click on an internal page and I scroll down and I'm actually reading this content and I get to the bottom of the page, instead of having to scroll all the way back up to try to figure out how to contact these people, it's at the footer. And so I can just click email and I can email them. This is also a good example, this page, of too much content wordiness. And I understand it's the chamber history, but a nice way to do this is maybe put 1919, 1920, 1922, 1923, 1924, like just put the years. And if people want to know, hey, what happened in 1922, they can click on 1922 and it'll expand like a drop-down menu and show you this content. Otherwise, I'm scrolling and scrolling and scrolling because they have something for every year apparently, which is a little crazy as well. So this is a lot of content for this page. And when you're doing usability research and testing, you find that users only scroll on the internet. And if you think about your own behavior when you're on a website, you see that as well. So nobody's going to read all of this. Nobody. I can guarantee it. So you want to make sure that it's good content that makes sense, but that you can display it in a way where people aren't having to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. Okay. I do like the consistency. So if I do click on different internal pages, I still have my company logo at the top, my main menu navigation, a nice image. The image can change, that's fine. New message, that's fine for the page. But the layout is the same, which is nice. And the footer is still the same. So great consistency. So I think since it is 2:30, we need to move on. Spent a little more time than I wanted to on this site, but thank you, Naperville Chamber of Commerce, for allowing us to review your site today. So the next site that we're going to look at is Zoho. Zoho, as many of you know, conduct sales and marketing, email and collaboration, and help desk assistance to businesses. So we're going to go ahead and kind of do the same thing that we did with the Naperville Chamber of Commerce. So we're going to go ahead and we first are going to look at their company branding and their homepage. So we see Zoho, we see their logo, and we see an image up here at the top, and we see a message saying operating system for business, everything you need to boost sales, step up productivity, and manage all day-to-day activities. Tightly integrated, ready for mobile. So this actually is a good message as well. It's telling you exactly what Zoho is. It's an operating system for businesses. It tells you everything that they do is boosts your sales, your productivity, and manages your day-to-day activities. And it's tightly integrated and ready for mobile. All good things that you want to know. We have support up at the top. They're welcoming me because I actually have an account with them, and I can access their apps as well. So one account for all of Zoho. So you can see all the different ways that you can go ahead and use Zoho. So we have our sales and marketing. We can click on any of these. We have email and collaboration. We can click on any of these, help desk, et cetera, et cetera. One thing that I would suggest here with Zoho is that you don't use up all of this real estate for these icons. What I would do is I would actually make a collapsible menu under each. So under sales and marketing, I would say give your sales team the perfect set of apps to help close more business deals in less time. It's a great, powerful message. And it's motivating too. And then for CRM, motivator, sales IQ survey, etc., I would actually make a drop-down menu so that you then could see these items and then click on them and actually go to the page that describes it. So that's what I would do. That would clear up this real estate as well. If we go down, we see some good information. It's talking about the CRM, telling you how much it is per month. It's also introducing Zoho apps on the Apple Watch, which is important. They want to showcase that. And it's also showing that it can integrate with Google Apps for work. So that's important. Here we have a nice message that says 15 million users work online with Zoho, and you can read their story. And then we have our footer. So we have our menu options, and we also have a sub-menu with information that shouldn't be in the main menu navigation, which is good. They did a great job. They have social media integration here just with Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, which works as well. So those are the three that they found would work for their business. So if we actually were to, let's say, click on an internal page, let's go ahead and do that. So we click social. So now we have our social icon. It's telling us about social media marketing for growing businesses. It has a clear message here. Good imagery. This is actually imagery of theirs, which is good. We have a menu here, features, pricing, frequently asked questions. We have my face here because we're logged into my account apparently. And so we have menu navigation up here at the top as well. So we have the same items that were on the home page, except now we're up at the top. So it's displayed nicely. It makes sense. So I would actually say leave that. So we're on the social page, so it's going to go through and tell us a little bit about their social features and what they can do. There's a quote here. You want to get started with social marketing today. Here, actually, get started with social media marketing today. This would be a good call to action button. Like I feel like I would have to click here, although I can't because I want to get started. So instead of having to go all the way back to the top of the page and try to figure out, okay, how do I get started with this? How do I do this? It's not very clear. Maybe I would go here to features. Okay, so features would take me to another internal page and kind of show me some of the features of social, which is good and interesting to know. But again, how do I start? Social. So let me go to pricing. Okay, so we have free, we have, so $10 standard, 50 professional. So it kind of lays out each pricing structure. And if I want to get started, I just hit get started. And then we're already in here. So we already have an account. Okay. So that's how that would work. So all in all, the site's very well done. It's very simple. Gives us a lot of good information. I want to just click on some other internal pages. I'm going to go to the blog. Typically, when you go to a company's blog, you're taken to a totally different website because some people don't know how to integrate their blog into their website. Basically, what that means is that just how Zoho did this. You click on blog and you're still on their website. You weren't taken to a second party site. Situated Research and our sister company QCamp, we do that as well. We do that with all website projects that we have a hand in. The blog is integrated. And so that will really help SEO scores as well. So we can see the blog, which is good. We can hit the back button. Just going to click on another internal page. So the menu navigation is still the same. It's at the top, hasn't changed. And now we have some good information that we clicked on. So this is done very, very well. I'm going to hit contact just to see what happens. So still, consistency is the main importance here, and we have it throughout. So great job. As I said, the one thing that I would correct is maybe clearing up this real estate here on the home page. All right, so thank you, Zoho, for allowing us to review your site. The next site that we're going to look at today is Geek Bar. This is an actual bar in Chicago, and it's the first bar and grill of its kind in Chicago. And so they wanted us to take a look at their site and just kind of give them some insight. So we're going to go ahead and do that today. They did build this site on their own using WordPress. So here at our company, we actually use WordPress as well. We do WordPress design sites. So we'll pick the template, and then we'll actually integrate all of your company branding. But we're just using the templates because there's certain features within the template that we need to use or want to use, or there's a certain layout that we're looking for. So it's easier just to purchase the template and stick your stuff in and kind of tweak the code a little bit so that it sticks with your branding of your company. So it looks like Geek Bar did this as well. So, and actually they're saying they made their site themselves. So let's go ahead and look at this. This is actually not set up through a theme for a website. This is actually set up through a theme for a blog. Okay, and the reason why I know this is because it says recent posts here. Okay, that's how a blog is set up. Do they have a blog? Okay, they don't have a blog, right? Yeah, they don't have a blog. But this whole website's set up as a blog. So that's the first problem. You guys need to set it up as a website. And then you need to have a blog integrated within the site. So that needs to be corrected. Another reason why I know is because the heading says home. What website do you go to where the homepage is actually labeled home? So just things like that. It's also set up as an e-commerce site with a shopping cart. So I'm not sure if there's ways to actually, if there's things to actually purchase. I guess that said shop now. Let's see what happens if we click that, just out of curiosity. Okay, so we can't even click on this. Okay. Geek Bar merchandise, this must be where. Okay, so there's a membership that you can purchase. So this could be set up in a more aesthetically pleasing way. So that way it doesn't show a shopping cart at the top, because this isn't an e-commerce site, even though they are wanting you to purchase a membership. But, you know, It is what it is. So, we can go ahead and help them with that. Another thing too, you can tell as well, when you're using a WordPress blog template, the footer that you develop, when you have short pages like this of content, it will expand like this when it shouldn't. That's another thing too that can kind of key you in. But just looking at the homepage, those are some things that stand out to me. We have a logo here, which is black and white, so it stays consistent with the color psychology of the website and each page of the site as well. And we have a message here kind of telling you about the bar, which is good. And then that's pretty much it. We've got, it's telling you the location with a map, which is good to know. Hours, you can sign up for the newsletter, and upcoming events, which is good too. So that's all good information. Here, I click to sign up for the newsletter. So this is something interesting that sometimes occurs. We always tell our clients, make sure that if someone clicks on an internal page or a link on your website, that you have your users remain on your website, meaning it doesn't open up a new window in your browser, or it doesn't change the look and feel, or you don't go to a new website. Reason being is because if someone does a Google search and they want to look up unique bars in Chicago, and Geek Bar comes up, and they click on it and they're on the main website and they want to sign up for the newsletter, well, look what happens. A new tab, a new window opens up within the browser. Image doesn't even show up here, which that needs to be corrected. And then they have you fill out this information, hit subscribe to list, and then that's it. Let's say that this window accidentally closed for some reason. Okay, so all they had was this open. And they go in and they hit submit, subscribe to list. What happens is when they try to click the back button to go back to the website because they want to see more, or maybe they want to purchase a membership, there's no back button to click. There's nothing to go back to. So they don't know what the URL was. They don't remember what it was, and they can't go back, which can be a concern. The other thing too is it's just not good usability to have people go to a new window, or to have a page not look the same as the rest of the website. So when you click here to sign up, maybe a box comes up and the background gets faded and you just ask for a name, email address. Subscribe, you're done. Takes you back to here where you were. Easy. I just curious to see what happens when you hit contact us. Okay, so when you hit contact us, it actually opens up your email. Okay, so that too, there should be a contact form on the website. Either it pops up, graying out the background, or it actually takes you to a contact us page. I'm going to quickly go here and kind of look at the calendar and see what this is about. Okay, so this template that they got from WordPress, I'm assuming is a mobile template because everything's lining up like it would on a mobile device, which is kind of bizarre because I'm on a desktop. Yeah, that's kind of weird. So that needs to be fixed as well. Just going to kind of click around so we can get some more information. So at least the format and the wireframe of the site does not change. There's consistency. But again, some key points here. If you're going to use WordPress, find a template that's for a website. Make sure it's for responsive design so that your website does look and feel the same on a mobile device. I would also get rid of the e-commerce. That way you don't have a shopping cart here and you only have one item to purchase, so have them fill out a form. And then I would go ahead and, what else did we say? Menu navigation's good. I think that's about it. So that's pretty good. Also, this ad here, or this little slideshow, if this were an actual template for a website, this would be bigger and would be the whole top of the page, so it might make more sense. But I would make like here where it says shop now clickable. So that's something else as well. So thank you, Geek Bar. And I will go ahead and message whoever was attending today, so that way I can go ahead and offer you more analysis on the site, because it does need that. And maybe we can be of assistance to you. Okay, we have about 15 minutes left, so I'm guessing we're not going to get through all of the sites that I wanted to today. So we're going to go ahead and quickly go to the next site. This is Top Golf here in Naperville. And so it's an outdoor driving range. And they've asked us to kind of look at their site. And so again, we go to the home page. We see their logo here, which is great. We have our main menu navigation at the top. Okay, so for this one, you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8 to 9, maybe we don't count the login. So 8 main menu buttons there. So again, we only want to have 4 to 6 because information can get lost. So under play, we have offers, upcoming events. So we have 7 different areas. That can be condensed as well. So I would look at menu navigation, definitely. It's showing our forecast, and probably the reason for that is because it's an outdoor type of company where you're outside, so weather would be important. So that's good to know. Let's see what else. We have our contact information, our social media integration, which is great. I would line up these buttons because it looks a little off there. Let's see what else. Kind of shows you what they're featuring. Here's some imagery. They have a new menu. I'm not sure what all this is, but it is clickable, which is interesting. So let's just see what happens when we click it. See what's happening. Top Golf has the best fans in the world, and we love sharing their experiences. Okay, so we can see people who have been at Top Golf who posted some imagery, which is good. All of a sudden, we have new menus down here, which is interesting. So had I not just randomly clicked on this page, would I still get this? Let's see. Let's go back and click on a different image. Okay, shows me the same thing. Okay. This part's a little confusing. I see it says see what's happening, but all these different images being clickable is a little bit confusing. So I would just have these images here if you're going to have them at all, and not make them clickable. Join us for New Year's. They want you to get a reservation. They have some special offers going on. See how this popped up and grayed out the back? That's what I meant on the other site, on the Geek Bar site. So this is nice. This is a good effect. Let's see. A lot of information. We're scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. So, okay, so this information that popped up on the other page when we were seeing what was happening, I guess is part of the footer. So that's interesting. Okay. Blog, let's go ahead and click on that. So see how you remain on the website. And the blog opens. So that's really nice as well. They did a good job. Okay. Just going to click on one more internal page and just see how this works. Okay. So this is done very nicely, especially on frequently asked question pages. A lot of people will just have the question and then the answer, and it just gets really long. So I like the way that they did this with a drop-down option for people who wanted to actually read different things. So that's good. So All in all, I think this is really well done. I would just say look at your main menu navigation and kind of take a look at this imagery and just see what you want to have happen here. It's not very clear that this is part of see what's happening, and why you're able to click on each picture and be taken to the same page is kind of redundant and not necessary. So I would just kind of take a look at that. Okay, but all in all, great job. Thank you so much for allowing us to review your site today. So we have 10 minutes. We're going to go ahead and go to the next website. So this is Anchor Brewing. This is in San Francisco. It's a brewing company there. So we're going to go ahead and evaluate their site. So just first off, just by looking at the homepage, the logo's done very, very well. I like the branding here. The imagery that they use here in the slideshow is done very well. Another thing with slideshows, as a side note, is to make sure that your slideshow isn't going through the images too quickly. You want to give your users and your readers ample time to read exactly what's on each slide. Take a look at the images that are passing by them. If you have it flashing too fast, it can be very distracting for users. And then they don't have enough time to read the content, because usually on slideshows like this, you're giving good, powerful messages, sometimes calls to action as well. So you want to make sure that that's clear and then it goes at a pace that makes sense for the user to take in the imagery as well as read the content. So this is done very, very well. We also have our social media integration here, which is great. I really like the way the buttons are made. It kind of goes with the theme of the site. So the theme of the site, the aesthetics is really nice. You can go ahead and click on different things. You can read, you can find one of their places near you. You can watch a video on their Anchor IPA. You can read about their first craft beer. You can watch another video. Okay, this is interesting. So how do oh, interesting. So this is a little disturbing right here. How do I keep going? I mean, I clicked on these little navigation buttons, just to, because I knew that was the case. However, there should be arrows here that actually say, that like here in the slideshow, there should be little arrows here. So if I wanted to fast forward through the slideshow, I could do that. I'm able to do that. If I wanted to navigate and see what else is here, I should be able to do that as well. Now, I knew to click here on these little dots because that would take me to the right more. However, some people aren't going to see that. And then leaving this all black is not good either. So that just needs to be fixed, and that's probably just a coding issue. If we look at our main menu navigation, we see 4 different options here. So we have beer, brewery, connect, blog. Okay, so 4, so that's between our 4 to 6. And we have some submenus as well. So under brewery, we have our craft, our history, tours, videos, frequently asked questions. That's all good. If we want to connect, we can do that as well. There are too many options here, so they may want to think about condensing that and how they can do that. You can find items. That's probably if you get lost on the site, maybe. Oh no, it's find an Anchor Brews near you. Okay, so that might be a little confusing. Then they have their social media outlets here as well. So let's go ahead and just click on an internal page. Okay, so that looks good. So I was talking about consistency before. So this obviously does not look the same as the home page. However, the logo's there, the main menu navigation stayed the same. The background imagery changed, which is fine, as long as on another internal page, it looks the same, which it does. It stays consistent. So good job. There's an image in the background, and this real estate stays the same, which is good. So all in all, really good job, Anchor Brewing. What I would do is I would go ahead and fix this slide here how you kind of maneuver through this information here, because that's a little confusing, and I would get rid of this black part as well. So good job. Okay, we have about 5 minutes, so we are going to go ahead and look at one last website very quickly. Ace Hotel here. And I believe they are in Seattle or Portland. I think the people, they're in both. The people who contact us here are from Portland. So apparently this hotel is in all of these different areas, which is interesting. So you can go ahead and click, I'm assuming, yep, and you're taken to that website in that town or that location, which is great. One thing I'm going to say very quickly about this site is that you're doing a lot of scrolling. The other thing is that there's just things placed all over the page with no real relevancy and no rhyme or reason for it. Just kind of placed all over the place. There's the blog, offers, so it's kind of random. This is going to get frustrating for users. Okay, because if they went and they wanted to look at the Ace Hotel in Portland and they wanted to look at the blog or something, they're going to be looking for menu navigation at the top. So here's a menu. Okay, this is hard too, this menu. So they could go to blog. So that's good. Book a room. That if you're at the menu and you go to book, this is kind of hard. See what I'm saying? Like you click menu and you're kind of scrolling through and you want to book a room and you go here because you think it says book a room, then it goes back in. It is kind of frustrating with your mouse. So that could be a little bit confusing. Go back to the home page. So it takes you, is it going to take you back to Portland or it takes you back to the home page of the whole entire hotel of each location? So that's exactly what it does. So go back to Portland. Again, we can go to the menu and go to blog, but I just stumbled upon this. Like I didn't even know that that was the menu. So going through and then, I see blog. So I could click that and then it takes me to the blog. It is 3 o'clock here in Chicago, so we're going to have to go ahead and end the webinar. But Ace Hotel, I will go ahead and do a video for you reviewing the rest of your site, so that way you have that. And then we can go ahead and talk about it later. So I'm going to go ahead and leave you with our contact information for today. Again, you can get that free usability report, that free marketing report from us just by contacting us at info@situatedresearch.com. You can visit our website at www.situatedresearch.com. You can also contact us, and there's our phone number. You can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. And again, if we didn't get to your website today, I truly apologize. In the year 2016, we will be doing this webinar live once a week. So please tell everyone that you know. And if you'd like a free video analysis before then, again, contact us. Again, I want to thank everyone for attending today and wishing you the best of the holiday season. And we hope to see you in a future webinar. Take care.